Thanks for stopping. It's Friday. Seems like it wasn't that long ago that I said that. This is Friday. This must have been a very quick week. Glad you're here. I want to share a passage with you. It is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." And I believe when that is applied correctly, that instruction to do just that has been so influential in preserving God's word for all of these generations. His very revelation, the very expression of who he is, that word has been preserved for each generation since then, and those people then were called to do the same thing, challenged to do that, to continue training up children in the way of God. And I think for me, I think of those many people in my formative years that had been assigned to train me up, my parents, my teachers, and my pastors. And I can think of many very kind, patient people who had to deal with me. It was not probably the best child to be trained up, pretty ornery, pretty conniving, pretty mischievous, naughty kind of guy. And one of the people that I think about was Mrs. Holstetler. She was my babysitter for a while, and I ran into her 60 years, since she had me, and I think back at all the trouble that I had caused her, and I apologized to her. I said, I'm sorry for the kind of jerk I was, and she just nodded. There were no words. She just kind of looked at me with a smile and kind of nodded. She was one of those people who wouldn't say poo even if she had a mouthful. So many people in my past that were so patient and so kind who brought me along on my path. And that to me is what the church is. We've been talking about us who have been light, privileged people because of the influence of the church in our lives, and how that influence was so instrumental in bringing us to know Christ. Those people, those devoted followers who did their part in bringing up this child in the way I should go. I did deviate, I did depart, but I had roots that I could come back to, just as that passage says. And to me, that's the church. And I'm grateful that I was nurtured by the many souls who trained me up, who are part of my life. Light, privileged I am to have those many grand saints in my history who I believe now are saints with these awesome great crowns because they had to deal with me. They trained me up in the way I should go. Psalm 119, 105 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light for my path." And that's what they did. That's what the church does. They provided this light to enlighten our path. That's what it worked for me, and I bet it worked that way for you as well, as you think back of those those in your past. That's there because of them, because of the church. That's where you first heard the good news of Christ. That's where you were nurtured in your faith by teachers and pastors and mentors and family members that did their part. That's how you saw the reality of Christ as it was lived out in people who are true followers. And it is in the context of that church where you were encouraged, you were corrected, you were challenged in your faith. We are, I believe, the recipients of the church's great investment. But we're called now to give back. We, those people who are privileged in His great light, are now called to extend that light to this next generation. You're called to mentor this next generation. We're called to lead and to serve in ministry. And we're called to share our story, our testimony, our life's journey of faith in our lives, share that with others. Why? Because the story, it isn't finished. We're called to be spiritual parents and spiritual leaders for those that are coming after us. Think about this today. How is it that we can respond to this grace that's been given to us through the many in the church who help shape us? How can we do that? By intentionally being the best bearers of the light to those around us. Think about that. We'll see you next time.
Step to the road where light will shine, waypoints guide through the divine.